Peace, y'all. Welcome back to Community College with Dr. G. I'm Dr. G. Let that shit go. How many times have you heard it? There's such a focus on release. Let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. And I'm all for let it go, but I'm all for let it go after processing it thoroughly so that you can release it and it doesn't come back to you, right? But today, I really do want to focus on the letting it go part. I want to frame it in a way that gives you information, helps you with understanding, provides you with strategies to eventually let go. But most importantly, stresses the supreme importance of letting go. So I'm going to start at the end with this one, and then when I'm finished, I'm going to come back to this. But it's the last thing that I wrote when I was writing out this particular topic, lesson, lecture, whatever you want to call it. The more you release, the more room you create for the infinite breadth of divine possibilities to enter your life. You gotta stop sitting in your shit first, though. I said this to somebody, and she was kind of blown away. I was like listening to her talk throughout the discourse. I was like, okay. And that conversation with her and many other people along the way is what kind of informed this particular lesson that I want to make you guys aware of, so that you can work through your shit on your own. But when I spoke to the young lady, I looked at her dead in her eyes and I was like, you like sitting in your shit, right? You like sitting in your shit. Like, one of the most common themes that I see among my clients, particularly the ones who have had really, really shitty early childhood or childhood experiences, really shitty relationships with parents, or early childhood or childhood bullshit or trauma. I don't really like to use the word trauma because I feel like it's overused, but some shit that really fucked you up, right? Most of the people that I talk to that went through some shit that really fucked them up when they were kids. Oh, I'm smiling because one of the Babas would be really proud of me for cursing the way I curse in these videos, but I appreciate that. Thank you, baby. Anyway, the most common element is that people are very, very aware of their trauma. When we talk about trauma, we talk about fucked up shit that's happened to people. A lot of times we assume that people are like not aware of what's going on. I don't remember the regression and the repression. And while those things do exist, most people are very, 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 very aware of the shit that's happened to them. They are also aware of how the shit that's happened to them has affected their personality, their behavior, their relationships, the patterns of their life. Very aware. People are very aware. They know what the fuck's going on, right? So I'm gonna deep dive into this. It's a sensitive topic, but it's something that I really want to make sure that I get through because I want people to have a good understanding of this. But ultimately, I want people to have the skills and the courage to let some shit go and make room for divine possibilities. So, a lot of shit that happens to us when we're a child, when we have these fucked up experiences, there's a lot of secrecy around it. Like, you're not supposed to talk about it. It could be some shit that everybody in your family knows that happened, but ain't nobody about to say it in the presence of the person, and the person don't ever feel comfortable saying it in the presence of anybody else. Like, there's a lot of secrecy, oftentimes almost all the time, and then guilt and shame. Secrecy, guilt, and shame are the most common themes that I see related to the fucked up shit that's happened to my people in their childhood. Secrecy, shame, guilt. Secrecy, shame, and guilt. And it comes and it's all related to different things. They don't always follow the same pattern. They're not always sourced from the same experiences, but by and far, however that phrase goes, there's always secrecy and shame associated with these things. So understand that a person being able to vocalize, to say out loud to other people, to claim the truth of their fucked up childhood, to vocalize, to speak the words out loud, is conquering secrecy. It's conquering the secrecy of that fucked up experience. And kudos to you. That is a major, major, major step along the way for someone who has been through some shit that they were supposed to be quiet about, that causes shame, that they were made to feel shameful about, and that they feel guilty or feel guilt in some way around their life because of this experience. To be able to speak on it, to be able to get to the point where you can speak on it without being emotional, without tears, in a very matter-of-fact way, because it was a matter of fact for your life, right? This is something that we got to understand. That's a huge step. That's a huge breakthrough. That's a huge, 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 huge thing. And if you've made it that far, you go boy, you go girl, you got, you did something. But it wouldn't be me, it wouldn't be Dr. G if I didn't push you. And I push you because I know that there's so much more to life than just conquering the secrecy. There's so much more. And what we need to understand as people who were hurt, and what people who love people who were hurt also should understand, is that these very small, seemingly small triumphs come with such a huge relief or sense of liberation to a person who has some fucked up shit happen to them, that relief feels like neutral. That feels good. It might not even be neutral, but it feels better than where we was at. Because what you gotta understand about people who have had some fucked up shit going on with them, their baseline is being a person who has dealt with some fucked up shit. Our neutral is traumatized. Was traumatized. Our neutral was traumatized. So as we progress and get back towards what a normal person's, or a person who hasn't had fucked up shit happen to them, what their neutral is, that's a fucking tremendous improvement on the energy that we've been carrying around, on the weight of the secrecy, from the weight of the shame. This is a huge relief to just be at neutral. I get to be with other niggas. Alright. Bet. So I'm real comfortable living in this space of vocalization. I'm real comfortable living in this space of healed from X, Y, and Z, where I could talk about it freely without emotion and express. I'm there. This is where rumination happens. You're ruminating the whole time, but this is where rumination happens, and then it stunts your growth. It was stunting it before, but you've made progress to the vocalization, maybe to the release of shame. But the rumination is really what keeps you at a plateau. We get to a plateau. Let me talk to you about rumination. Rumination literally is us going over and over and over in our head the shit that we've been through, right? And if you are ruminating, even though you are doing this from a non-emotional space, from an intellectual space, from a healed space, when you ruminate about traumatic experiences, about fucked up shit that's happened to you, about the shitty relationships that you've had, this is the energy that you're putting out into the world. Thoughts become things. Words become things. Behavior becomes things. If you follow me, if you know what I've been on for as long as I've been doing this particular thing, you know that I talk about language and how important language is. So when you say, I was traumatized. I'm a victim. When you are victimizing yourself by repeatedly talking about the ways that you got fucked up as a child or an adult or anything, when you ruminate in that space, that's the energy that you create around yourself. So while you are growing and moving forward, you are also your own demise in the things that you choose to continue to talk about. I got to a point along my healing journey where I started to retell a story that I had told a number of times, ruminated on countless times in my head. And a couple sentences into it, I said, "This is the last time I'm going to say this shit." And I said it not to who I was talking to, but to myself. Because I was sick of hearing that shit. I was sick of feeling that shit. I was sick of that shit. This is going to be the last time I say this shit. I don't even remember what it was. Because I'm not talking about that shit no more. Right? That rumination is keeping you in a cycle of the same energy that you're intending to release by being vocal. That vocalization was very, very important. I'm fucking proud of you, because there's so many people that don't even get to vocalize the shit. They don't even get to that level of healing. But it's levels to this shit. And it's not just the healing that I want you to get through. It's what's on the other side. The fucking levels of joy. When you let go of that old shit and you make room for new shit to come in, and you get to see all of the infinite ways that the divine could create miracles in your fucking life. That's what I want for you. That's the point of all of this. That's the point. So when I say let go and make room, what am I talking about? Let go of the need to talk about it. Let go of the need to talk about it. How do you do that? Let go of the identity of the hurt person. How do I do that? Because the version of you that was hurt no longer exists. The repercussions of those experiences of that person are still there, but those repercussions are now your responsibility. You gonna keep hurting yourself? Or are you gonna claim healing over yourself? Are you going to choose to sit in pain and shit? Or are you going to choose to sit within liberation and joy? Because at this point, it's up to you. Yes, it was fucked up. Yes, it hurt. Yes, you need to talk about it. You need to express all of the shit that you ain't never get to express. You need to work through and clear the secrecy, clear the shame, clear the guilt. Do all the things. Go to therapy. Call me. Talk to your friends. Cuss them out. Cuss them out. But I got you. I need you to get to a point of letting that shit go, so that you can experience not just a neutral life, but a joy-filled life, which is your absolute divine right to be full of joy. Your baseline isn't neutral. Your most authentic baseline is joy. And I want that for you. We gotta get uncomfortable with shit that's supposed to make us feel uncomfortable. The sad part about dealing with some fucked up shit when you were a child, is that you are comfortable with the emotions that come along with fucked up shit. That's why rumination feels so good. That's why vocalizing feels so good. That's why not letting it go feels so good, because it's not the experience, right? That version of you don't exist no more. That experience is not it. Those emotions that you're real comfortable feeling, that are familiar to you, these familiar feelings bring comfort. Please do not mistake comfort for joy, because these things that you are comfortable with are not joyful things. And this is our fight to get beyond trauma to neutral, and then from neutral to joy. That's our birthright. The joy is our birthright, not those fucked up feelings that we're comfortable and familiar with feeling. We gotta make ourselves uncomfortable with that. We gotta push that shit out. How? How? Introspection and mindfulness. There's a video or two on introspection all throughout here that you guys can see. Think about when we talk about rumination, when we talk about introspection, but introspection and beyond, right? So you think about a tumble dryer, the electrical dryer, tumble dry. The clothes, just some of them, they have a setting where until you come and open the door, it'll consistently tumble the clothes, right? So they don't get wrinkled. So the dryer will stop, the time will be off, it'll buzz, but you didn't come. So 15, 20, 30 minutes later, it'll flip the clothes again a couple of times and then let them drop. And then if you don't come back for another 15, 30 minutes, it'll tumble the clothes again until you come and open the door. And if you catch the dryer while it's still tumbling, shit just tumbles out. I encourage you to open the door while it's still tumbling and let that shit out. Ooh. Catch yourself. That's the only way. Catch yourself. Catch yourself. Catch yourself. So while you are in the process of introspecting, while you are being mindful of where your head is, you will find yourself ruminating. You will find yourself rehashing old, dirty, stinky, funky, stagnant shit that don't have nothing to do with your current life or where you're going. You'll do that. That happens. This is a part of life. It's a part of being human. But you have the power to stop it. So while the dryer is tumbling, the ruminating is happening, the shit is flipping over and over and not going anywhere endlessly. It's already dry. It's already drying. Pop that door up and let that shit out. Let it out. Let it out. Let it out. I remember Dream. What happened to him? When you find yourself ruminating, rehashing, reliving, feel your face tighten up or something, right? Sometimes it's a physical thing. This I tell people oftentimes, it's sometimes easier to catch your thoughts when you pay attention to your body. So when you feel your face screwed up, what are you thinking about? You feel your chest tighten up, what are you thinking about? You feel your shoulders slump, what are you thinking about? That's a way to self-awareness, a level of self-awareness that I didn't discuss in the last video. But sometimes it comes from our physical body or how we're feeling, right? And or if it's not, and you catch it because you find, oh, I'm thinking about this thing again, right? Stop yourself immediately. Stop it. Don't let it finish. Don't let it get to the end. Hit stop. Hit pause. Don't let the video keep going. Don't let the story keep playing. Don't keep telling that shit. Stop it. Stop it. And this is where I use find and replace, like in Microsoft Word. You guys know Microsoft Word? I'm not that old, but in Microsoft Word, there's this option called find and replace, where you type in a word you want to find and you replace it. So if you've misspelled something a number of times, or if you want to change the tense of a particular narrative, you find and replace, right? So while we're in this introspection, in the space of mindfulness, and we've caught our shoulders slumped and we've recognized the thought pattern, we found our face balled up and we're like, oh, here we are again. Or you're just sitting there and you're like, damn, I really am angry at this person that I don't really need to be angry at right now. I need to let that shit go. A very good way to train yourself, to condition yourself, recondition yourself, is to think about what it is that you would have wanted to feel in that situation, or think about ways that you can counteract or not deal with that shit no more, right? What do I mean? So, you had a mean mom growing up. You had a mean mom growing up, and you are ruminating on some of the ways that her behavior towards you have affected you in your adult life. You're like, man, if I would have never went through that shit, and the reason why such and such, and I can't believe I'm still in this place because no, that's not a space that I'm not a victim. No, I don't live in that space anymore. That is not who I am, because I've surpassed the experiences. That part of me doesn't exist anymore, or that part of me has been integrated into this whole being that I am now, but we don't live in that space anymore. I'm moving forward. I've let that shit go, because all it is doing is perpetuating negative feelings, perpetuating experiences that I don't want to have again, and that's not what I'm trying to do with my life here. So I need to replace this. I need to fix this. What I'm about to do? What I'm about to do? You know what? I've come a long fucking way. Yes, I did. See, I replaced that rumination, that identity, those familiar and comfortable feelings that are fucked. I've replaced it with pride. The opposite of shame. Pride. I'm validating myself. Look at how far I fucking come. You. All right. All right. All right. What was I even thinking about? What was I even thinking about, nigga? You didn't. You did a motherfucking thing. Okay, you see how I took some shit that was old and stagnant and fucked, and I replaced it with my reality. Something that's brighter and beautiful and joyful. Find and replace. When you find it, and when you mindful find yourself in that space of rumination, replace that shit. Maybe I'm not proud of myself yet. Maybe I'm not there yet. Maybe I'm not there yet. But you know what I do know? I would never put nobody through the shit that moment put me through. And I stand on that. That's not a victim stance. That ain't a victim stance. That's an advocate stance. That's a real nigga stance. You're not a victim no more. You a real nigga. You're an advocate. You're doing better than. Sometimes you gotta be mad. Sometimes you gotta be mad. I'm gonna tell you one thing that got me through many a morning when I woke up really, 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 really sad and fucked up and angry about some shit that went down. My favorite thing to do while stepping out the bed is be like, man, fuck them. It worked until I got to another level. I still be like, man, fuck them sometimes. Because sometimes what you didn't get to express was the anger, the rage of it all, the audacity. Fuck them people. Find and replace. It's your journey. It's yours. So it's unique to you. I can give you examples, but you got to create that from your own authenticity. What are your feelings? How do you want to feel? Where are you headed? How do you make other people feel, baby? Find and replace. Find and replace. As you find and replace, you're letting the shit go. You're letting it go. And you are making room. You're letting it go. Finding and replacing. Identifying. Finding. Replacing. Letting it go. Releasing it. Releasing it. And leaving yourself in an open, at minimal neutral, if not joyful space. to attract the blessings of infinite possibility that the divine has put in your path. You gotta take responsibility for that. So you can choose to sit in your pain and your shit and perpetuate comfortable and familiar feelings, or you can choose to move to the space of release, liberation, and joy and create unfamiliar feelings of joy, happiness, all of the good things that you didn't get to experience on the full scale before because you were moving from a space of fucked. But now you have taken responsibility and you are moving to your divine right of joy. You get to choose. You get to choose, but you gotta do it. You gotta stop sitting in your shit. You gotta find and replace so you can let that shit go and then open yourself up. Do some energy work. Exercise, yoga. I say it all the time. Meditate, sing, swim, sit in silence, put your feet in the grass, go out into nature, hug a tree, do something to help you cleanse your energy on a regular basis, because it's your responsibility, but there's so many resources out here that can help you, that are easily accessible and easily can help you transmute these energies that are coming up that we need to transmute, transform, change so that we can live our best life. I'm living my best life. Shout out to Auntie Norma. I ain't going back and forth with you. Find ways to help you let go. Scream. Shoot a gun. I said it before, I'll say it again. Shoot a gun. At a range, not at a person. Responsible. At a range, not at a person. Get somebody to teach you how to use the gun properly before you shoot it. Wear goggles and some head stuff. Don't put your finger on the trigger until you're ready to pull. But go shoot a gun though. Talk about feeling powerful. Can y'all tell I missed the range? The more you release, the more room you create for the infinite breath of divine possibilities for your life. Love y'all.